Hi everyone, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. So today I am here with a book review, and the book that I'm reviewing is Redhanded, an exploration of criminals, cannibals, cults and what makes a killer tick, by Suruthi Bala and Hannah Maguire. This is based upon the very successful and award-winning Redhanded podcast, which is hosted by Suruthi Bala and Hannah Maguire. This book is incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to the audio edition. I haven't read the physical copy, but I do plan to in the future. And this is a signed edition, which I'm so excited to add to my collection. And yeah, I highly recommend this book. This book discusses the sort of inner psyche of criminals and serial killers, cult leaders, and the amount of investigation work that has gone into creating this piece of art, this absolutely incredible text is just outstanding. And the audiobook that I listened to, it was so entertaining. There was a slight sort of, there was something missing that the girls usually have in their podcast, which they kind of digress and they talk about other things and they throw in other things. They threw in their own opinions and stuff like that. That was missing from the audiobook, but the humour and the warmth and the wit, it was all there. But I think this had the perfect balance of creepiness, because obviously they were talking about serial killers and about what makes them tick and the crimes that they'd committed and why they'd committed them, and you know, all this kind of thing. It was brilliant, and I highly recommend it. Some of the things that are discussed in the book are really quite interesting topics in the sort of the genre of true crime. Now, true crime I am a fan of, but for me, true crime is not so much the blood and the guts. It's more the why and the wheretofore, if that's even a word. Is that a word? Possibly. It's the police procedurals and the investigation work and the conclusions that the authorities come to, and the clues that are found, and the things that people inadvertently leave behind after they think they've committed the perfect crime. So it's that kind of thing that really interests me. And this really feeds into that. This is a deep dive into the psyche of people who have committed some of the most heinous, evil, bloodthirsty crimes. So there are things like genetics, and that talks about like that you can't be, you actually cannot be diagnosed as a psychopath. There are just traits of it, but there's no such thing as an actual psychopathy diagnosis. It's not possible. It can't be done. Then there are things like childhood and adolescence. So it talks about things that shape these people as children and make them, you know, lead on to commit these awful atrocities that they do. Things like insanity, misogyny, cults. That was a really interesting one. It talks about Jim Jones and Jonestown, and the mass suicide of nearly 1,000 people. You know, they drank the Kool-Aid, and they all died because Jim Jones told them to. That was quite terrifying. Things like relationships and bigotry and sex. It was so interesting and really like really cleverly done. And I would highly recommend this. As always, I am not traditionally very good at doing book reviews, and I hope that this has been like a sort of non-spoilerish one, and it's just kind of giving you an outline of what I think of this book. And yeah, the writing style is very witty, it's very snappy, it's clever, it's just outstanding. And these two women and it's just been announced that they are on the Sunday Times bestseller list, and it's very well deserved. Like I say, I listened to the audiobook. I haven't read the physical edition yet, but I look forward to doing so, because for me, reading a physical book and listening to an audiobook, it feels like two completely different mediums. I feel like I take different things from each, so I do look forward to getting to this. But regardless, I have only listened to the audiobook, but I would highly recommend either reading the physical copy or listening to the audiobook, or doing both in tandem. If you are a fan of true crime like I am, and for the reasons that I'm a fan of true crime, obviously not for the guts and gore, but for the sort of the ins and outs and what makes these people tick, this is a book that you will absolutely devour. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was brilliant, and I hope you do too. So yeah, that has been my kind of review-ish. I know that I'm not very good at doing reviews. I kind of get my tongue tied up and don't really know what to say. I go into the video with an idea of what I'm going to say, and then I trip over myself, and then I end up not saying it. But I hope that I've kind of reviewed it enough for you to want to read it. I would highly recommend that you do, because it is very, very good. But for now, I shall leave you there, and I shall say thank you so much for watching. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye.